Our top story: as the countdown begins for Budget 2015-16, the Housing Ministry is vying for bigger allocations for the next fiscal to carry forward its development programs. But how has the ministry fared so far since the Modi government's first budget last year? Oinitam Ojha reports.
Urban Development and Housing Ministry Babus huddled in meetings, busy number crunching to make the final pitch for an increased budgetary allocation to fund big-ticket schemes. But as the government prepares for a new innings with new schemes and new names for old ones, the fact remains that most of the schemes, including the much-hyped affordable housing policy, remain utter failures.
Initiatives where the government failed to perform because clearly they were not aligned with the market. So one, there is absolutely no affordability whatsoever because the government is going to link it to certain cost, say 5 lakh rupees, and people who are buying houses for 5 lakh rupees, and then the government will give them subsidy. First of all, such solutions at 5 lakh rupees are not at all practical only.
During the UPA regime, schemes like Integrated Housing and Slum Development Program and Rajiv Awas Yojana were introduced to provide low-cost housing for the economically weaker section. As per the latest official data, 2,140 crore rupees were released between 2011 and November 2014 under the IHSDP, and 1,50,872 dwelling units were allotted out of the 1,61,792 units constructed. Under Rajiv Awas Yojana, just 1,659.18 crore rupees was spent to build just 2,270 units.
Just calculate per square feet construction cost only. If we leave behind that land only, so you will see around 1,300-1,400 rupees for the basic construction. 1,300-1,400 rupees square feet cost is there. Somehow, if we reduce this cost by cheaper material and land is also cheaper, then we'll be able to achieve affordable housing.
The BJP government is all set to make a fresh start. But even before Housing for All by 2022 takes off, the policy seemed to have hit the first hurdle. It is yet to get the cabinet go-ahead. According to official sources, Prime Minister Narendra Modi seems unconvinced about the coverage of the policy. Mr. Modi wants the policy to address both urban and rural housing issues. This new exercise is expected to take another 3 to 6 months before the policy is ready.
We do not complete our planning door to door. We do projects and leave them somewhere in between. And that is why we have, I would honestly say, a mess in a city like Gurgaon.
To boost offtake of low-cost housing units, the earlier UPA government did launch interest subvention schemes like Interest Subsidy Scheme for Housing the Urban Poor, Rajiv Rin Yojana and Credit Risk Guarantee Fund, but these schemes failed to achieve much.
The awareness was not created to the extent that people really felt that there's a scheme which they could use and benefit from. I think it may be made more practical, and it may be made available to people in a much easier way. I mean, the compliance levels in some of these schemes is extremely high.
With the merging of the Housing Ministry with Urban Development Ministry and a more focused approach in designing policies for targeted delivery, we can only hope that things will change on the ground this time. In New Delhi, Oinitam Ojha, NDTV.